Hey there. Welcome to Product Marketing Maestros, Tales from the Front Lines. I'm your host, Nitin Karthik. As Director of Product Marketing and a top product marketing voice, I've always found that real-world case studies are the true litmus test for the effectiveness of any product marketing strategy. And that is why in this show, we dive into the minds of industry titans, as well as rising stars, unpacking their expertise in action-packed episodes that showcase the power of product marketing through real-world case studies. And today, my friends, we are joined by product marketing maestro Tom Crist, who is a principal at Fluvio in Texas. And he's also a Product Marketing Alliance chapter ambassador for Dallas Fort Worth. Tom is a seasoned product marketing leader with over 15 years of experience across various industries, including enterprise automation, payments, registration, and ad tech. As principal at Fluvio, a product marketing consultancy, and a finalist for PMA's top product marketing team last year, Tom owns the strategy and success of engagements with PMM leaders at diverse clients. Tom has a strong background in go-to-market strategies, product launches, and sales enablement. His previous roles include leadership positions at Redwood Software, ABC Fitness Solutions, and Active Network, where he drove significant business growth and innovation. Tom earned his marketing degree at the University of Texas at Austin. So with that, let's welcome Tom Crist. Tom, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. It's an honor to be here and really appreciate the wonderful introduction. Looking forward to it.
Absolutely fabulous. Wonderful. So Tom, like promised, we will give our audience a situation from your experience based on your work with your clients, if possible. Let's use the ABC framework. So we'll talk about the antecedents, what were the prior challenges, we'll talk about the behaviors, what were some of the actions that you took, and we'll talk about the conclusion, how we can expect these situations to play out. So with that, Tom, pick one or more engagements with your clients or your experience and tell us what are some of the antecedents and what are some of the challenges we'll be talking about.
Yeah, I love this 10-minute format because it lends itself so well to answering a specific problem. So the natural fit for that for me was something that every product marketing team is tasked with and often, and something that's been a major help for several organizations we've worked with, and hopefully get through a couple of specifics there. And that's solving for asks for in-depth case studies. No matter who we work with, it's always on your scorecard. It's whether it's implicitly or implicitly there, you're being measured in some way, whether it's first or last on the list, at how many great customer stories that you're able to bring to the market and prove the value of the solutions that you're working on. And by the way, you can't just do it once. You've got to make it repeatable. You've got to keep them flowing. And unless you're lucky enough to have a dedicated customer advocacy team, and in that case, even product marketing is still responsible for messaging and what to target, it's on you to do. Your customer team is always going to be asking, do you have it in this vertical for this size client, for this element of the product that we're rolling out? And these are tough to get. It's a big pain factor for the customer team too. And the asks are vague. If you're a customer success manager and you're getting asked from the product marketing team, give me satisfied customers I can talk to this month, you're going to rightly groan about that. It's going to fall on a little bit of deaf ears, and it's not something you want to be doing every month. So how can you standardize this across your team is a question we get a lot. How can you actually get a result here so we can deliver something and earn the right to keep doing some of the other cool projects that we want to be working on by delivering on this baseline? It's a problem that we hear quite a bit and something that we try to help with from a process standpoint.
Wonderful. Wow. A case study about doing case studies. I absolutely love it. So there you go. This is genius. So thank you, Tom, for laying out the antecedents. Now let's talk about the behavior. So given these challenges that a lot of product marketers face, what are some of the behaviors? What are some of the actions that you recommend have worked out successfully for you?
Yeah, as a general rule, when there's something that's high effort and it's a repeating ask, the answer is, how can I use data and process to make that manageable for the team? And just a quick note on what's not in scope. I'm not looking to gather a whole lot of pieces at scale, survey customers. There are services like user evidence that do that. There are items you can do yourself. I'm talking about in-depth interviews that you as a product marketer are conducting and turning into content like long-form case studies, videos, things like that. So just to be a little bit more specific. So what can you do instead of making a vague ask that just makes customer success a little bit angry? You can take a data-driven approach with 3 steps. Audit what you have, design a process, and make that process repeatable. So that's what I want to talk about. Number 1 is an audit. Number 1, easy part there, talk to teams, see what's a holdup in their process, see what's often coming up as a need for customers or prospects they're talking to. They just don't have a story with. Easy. The next one is more on you. Read what you have. Even if you're starting from zero, at least you know you're starting from zero, but chances are you have a decent set of existing customer stories. Take a note, make a spreadsheet. What's highlighted from a key outcome perspective that you want to support? Is that lined up with your messaging framework? Is it solving a user case study? Good to know too. What customer segments and verticals? Probably don't have a great map of that. Great to put that in the spreadsheet and compare. What's highlighted from a feature and solution set standpoint? And what's the age of these? For example, worked with a client recently that had a number of case studies from 2021. They were all about coming back from COVID. Well, probably not the best and most reasonable piece that you want. So from that conversation with the revenue and customer teams and from your own audit, all of a sudden you can make a target list. What's lightly covered? What do you know is coming up in your product roadmap that you want to talk about from a theme perspective? What verticals and segments are missing? Suddenly you've got a starting point of what's missing, and you can move on to the second step, which is creating a process that's driven on this data and what you have, and not just vibes and asks of who's a great target. The first thing with the process is to agree on a realistic goal with sales teams. We found, and actually going back to that same example, an in-depth case study a month is a pretty reasonable goal to have if you've got a process behind it. So if you want to do that, a good goal to have of the list that you're going to send to customer success is, could I have 10 or fewer accounts that I could ask about in a given month? And you can ask the question instead of, what organizations do you have that might be willing to talk to us? It's, which of these 10 organizations should we not reach out to about a case study? And that really switches up what we want to have in a conversation with our partners on the customer team. So how do you actually get there? Pretty simple and straightforward. Establish a role of what's going to happen each month. Who's responsible for generating this targeted list of asks? Well, probably product marketing. Who's responsible for getting a yes from that list? Probably CSMs. Who's responsible for doing the interview? Again, back to us, probably product marketing. Same with actually enabling the sales team on what you get and showcasing the win. But there's also activation. If you've talked to any CMO about case studies, we don't want to put it in the website and forget about it. We don't want to put it on SharePoint and forget about it. We want to make sure that we're actually using this in campaign, that teams are doing that. And that's where your marketing partners come in. As far as building that list that I've referenced a few times now, it's not rocket science, but it does take some configuration and some trial. So think about the parameters that you have in your CSM around customer age, around NPS, product stats and usage. If you're lucky enough to have Looker and Power BI and other pieces that give you performance data, consider what's available for you and imagine these three scenarios of a list that you've created. In scenario A, we're not really leveraging data. The classic question. We need happy customers. We know we need it in the apparel vertical. Who on your client list fits that bill? I've got to go think. I've got to do work. I've got to build a target list. Tough. Scenario B, add CRM data. Hey, I've got a list of 40 US-based customers in the apparel vertical. They joined us within the last year and they have an NPS about 8 or higher. Who could participate? Okay, big list still, but better, still asking them to do work. What I'm trying to get to, and what I'm trying to help organizations get to, is scenario C. I've got CRM and product data involved. I found 10 customers in the apparel vertical with an NPS of 8 or higher. I know they've seen a 20% improvement in this metric that we care about during that time, and they've had 3 active users in the last month. Is there any reason why one of these wouldn't want to participate in the case study? If I'm asking the CSM that owns that rather than leadership, because I know the accounts, all of a sudden, I've got a great starting point and I've got a very good chance of getting that done. So that leads us to step 3, making it repeatable. What's important with this process is just to get started. Get a successful month under your belt, shave off the rough edges, highlight your win, figure out what works for you and doesn't for your organization. And each time that I've done this with an organization, we've gotten one in the first month. It's not a very complicated thing to make an ask from vague to specific, but it is something that you can get a quick win on. You can start thinking about themes that you want to fill in the future. You can give yourself those easy-ish wins. You can build a pipeline, which you should consider this as well, a pipeline, and you can actually deliver on that need and free up resources and for the rest of this. Because if you figure out how to segment all of these lists and pull an easy list, all of a sudden every month, you don't have to do a lot of work. You tweak your parameters, you get it done, and you send it straight to the team.
Wow. I love that. You've got that three-step plan. This is amazing. So thank you, Tom, for laying out the behaviors. Now bring it home, Tom. So tell us, when you've had these situations play out for your clients, for example, how would these played out? Tell us about the conclusion. How can we expect them to play out?
Yeah, I've implemented this personally, both myself and at a few clients. The fun part isn't just getting the customer success, isn't just getting the customer stories. It's the reaction from the customer success team. Because as product marketers, we're really charged with building fantastic relationships across the teams. And rather than sending an email ask and no one ever comes back and I've got to come and ping you and follow up with you and ask you for more, you get a quick response that says, this one's not great. This one would make sense. I can reach out to this one this week. And that's just an amazing feeling to go from pulling teeth to getting a quick response, which is what we've seen, frankly, pretty consistently with this. And then, of course, got to keep it moving and got to keep it repeatable.
Yeah. Wow. Amazing. Amazing. So I love this. You've got the process set out. You've told us about some of the behaviors, and you've even told us how these can expect to play out in the real world. So wonderful. So thank you, Tom. Excellent advice there. Tom, if people wanted to learn more about you, where can they find out more?
Sure. Easily accessible on LinkedIn. Would love to get an outreach from anyone listening there. Of course, there's a general contact through fluviomarketing.com, but usually at the Austin PMA, we'll be at PMA London later this year. So hopefully seeing some of you all in person as well.
Wonderful. Absolutely fabulous. So Tom, thank you for that. Folks, there you have it. Definitely reach out for Tom for more excellent advice like this, and onward with that knowledge, onward and upward.